Here's what the skies look like across Texas just a few minutes ago. Got a half moon there. And we've got 3 evening planets up in the sky. You can see Venus right there, slightly to the left, and then further off to the left, not really visible, but there's also Saturn and Mars. Mars, you can definitely see the distinctive red color. So go out and check that out if you've got a clear sky. Well, we're getting into fall here, and with fall, that means cooler temperatures. And we can see a few sub-freezing readings coming into the Dakotas right there. And lots of 40s and 50s throughout much of the country. So definitely getting to be about that season. And we're also seeing the big drop-off of temperatures in the Great Basin. See here, 29, 35. That's pretty normal. This area here is very dry. It loses heat very quickly, and that's how we get the Great Basin semi-permanent high pressure established. And as that happens, we get more of an easterly component to the winds in California. So we start seeing the start of Santa Ana conditions. I don't think anything like that's going on right now, but we're getting into that season where wildfires out there can be a issue. Here in Texas, we have high pressure. See a big high up to the north there, and that's pushing a very dry northeasterly flow into Texas. So let's check out the dew points and see if we can see a reflection of that. Yeah, look at that, 55 there at Jacksonville, 52 at Lancaster, 54 at Dallas, so even 30s, good grief, right there near Sulphur Springs and Mount Vernon. And we're pushing out these more humid, these moister conditions off to the south there. So with that, we're going to see a bit of a cool down at night, just like out in the Great Basin area. Let's look at the big picture and find those fronts. And you probably remember, we're looking at thickness here, and we're looking for the tightest thickness gradients to kind of give us an average temperature in the lowest half of the troposphere. So here would be, well, let's do proper colors here. Okay. Come on, red. There we go. So it looks like a little bit of a warm front right there. Maybe a cold front coming out into the Pacific like that. And I don't think I can do purple on here, but if we did purple, probably have something extending up this way a little bit. And then out towards North Carolina, there's Matthew working up the coast very slowly and getting itself entangled in some of this drier, cooler air working southward. So that's going to be pretty detrimental to that storm. Big ridge across much of the Midwest and the central U.S., kind of like that. See a big ridge coming in. And that's helping feed a little bit of cooler air from the Hudson Bay River into the eastern Great Lakes area. Okay, let me do a quick check of my sound. Okay, it looks good here. All right. Continue on and check out Matthew. Just off the coast of North Carolina there, just off of Wilmington. And it's still a Category 1 storm. They've got that 65 knots sustained. I don't think they have any gusts on there, but pressure up to 981 millibars. So it's 2/3 of the way back to normal from yesterday. A lot of filling of that cyclone as it's lost a lot of the effects of latent heat, which is really what powers these systems. And there we go. You can see not much left there. The center of the circulation, in fact, is right here. So most of the heavy precipitation shield is way up north. And most of what we have left in the lower levels is low cloud. Infrared imagery is sensitive to higher cloud, cooler cloud tops. So what we have out here is mostly low cloud. This is like stratocumulus, maybe a bit of nimbostratus, stratus, stuff like that mixed in. And we'll run this back, and you can see this morning things were a lot different. Had the eye wall coming up through the Charleston area of South Carolina, just kind of working its way up the coast. And this is, just ignore the flashing. When it comes back a second time, this will look a little bit better. Just one of the joys of JavaScript here. There we go. There's the system working up, and then it falls apart just in the last 5 hours. So that's going to be pretty well out of the picture. Forecast models have it moving offshore. Not one model brings it up the coast. The Japanese model, probably the closest out of those, and NAM, but those all have it extending like that. What's this other model? UK Met. UK Met wants to bring it all the way up into the Maritimes. But you remember, if you go back a week, the GFS was wanting to bring Matthew all the way up the coast into Maine. So you can see how things have changed a lot over the past week. All right, let's see. There was one other thing I wanted to look at. Oh yeah, I wanted to check out, before we leave Matthew, I want to see how the models did yesterday. So I don't have that set up. So let me go to that tropical model site, tropicalatlantic.com. And they've got a little drop-down list here. I can go to the model archive and pull up yesterday's models. So we're going to be looking at 7th and 18Z. I'll pull that up very quickly. And at the time, the storm was off the coast of St. Augustine. And let me plot these results up here. Okay, there's the GFS right there. GFS went a little bit too far right. Kind of looped it back very quickly. Canadian model. That looks a little bit closer to what we have, actually. Canadian, as I said yesterday, has been doing pretty well. The same with the UK Met model. UK Met model went a little bit to the right. And GFDL model, that went to the right also. Japanese model went to the right. I guess that's probably not too far from where it is, actually, because it is just off the coast there. I guess those models aren't actually too bad. But let's see here. It was scraping the coast off of Charleston. And it looks like all those models actually did pretty well. The outlier was this one that brought it way onshore, and that was the Canadian model. Okay. All right, so the Canadian model did go a little bit too far to the left, but that's okay. And let me see, is there one other model here? NAM, way offshore, no gaps, pretty much in line with the other ones. Okay, so I guess the models overall, they did fairly well. Let me just check back on here. Okay, yeah, so the hurricane is about right in there, so pretty good performance there. All right, so I guess we can move on. Oh yeah, let me check out Nicole. We do have Nicole, tropical storm, but that is moving north directly towards Bermuda, so don't have to worry about that. So we're going to have a bit of a break here. So the forecast, here we go. GFS, bring up the panels, get everything all ready. Got to move some windows around here very quickly. Okay, I think we're set here. So we'll bring this back to the current hour. There's Matthew right off the coast of North Carolina. Remember, there's a big ridge across the Midwest, and then a little frontal system up in the Northwest. And this time I put on the precipitable water so you can see the higher dew points, the richer moisture. And that's pushed all the way to the south off the coast with a little sliver along the Rio Grande of Texas. But this northerly wind will be driving that southward. So let's see what happens over the next couple of days. Moisture does push south, but we do get a little bit of return flow way up in the high plains here. So that's sneaking back up the Rio Grande. as we get cyclogenesis reestablished in the northern plains here. So Monday and Tuesday, we see the start of another cold front working in, driven by this high pressure here in Montana. Here's the leading edge of that front right there. This is Tuesday night. So new front coming through, and it looks like a little bit of moisture does start working back up north. So we're going to see the chances of showers and storms increase in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas by midweek. And there goes Matthew off the coast, and high pressure covering all of the eastern U.S. All right, so going into Thursday, front continues working southward, pushes through Texas. That's probably when their rain chances will be highest here in Texas. And let's see, Thursday, then Friday, high pressure moves into the eastern U.S., driving another round of drier, cooler air southward. But that high moves pretty far north, so that's going to allow some of the return flow to sneak back northward into Texas pretty quickly. So return flow pretty well established. No storm systems on the horizon just yet, so that's going to allow more moisture to come up into Texas over the weekend. Then going into next week, here comes our next frontal system. This is going to be Monday. There it is right there. So probably a widespread chance of showers and storms across most of the central U.S. And that'll sweep through over Tuesday and Wednesday, 8 or 9 days from now. And then it looks like a major change here. Look at this, a 1044 millibar high. That's very strong. That's going to be associated with some very strong polar air if that pans out. But this has a very unusual western push. See that right here? So that would actually drop the temperatures quite a bit out here, get a lot of long wave troughing out here, and that would set up Colorado and New Mexico for a surface system later on that week. So this is October 20th. So we shall see if that comes together, but that would, I don't know if that's going to be our first winter storm. Good grief, 1047. Let me do a quick calculation here. Let me bring up the calculator. Get out of here, black screen. Okay. 1047 divided by 33.8636, 30.92 inches of mercury. So that's going to be a very strong one if that pans out. Something to look forward here. That would be our first major, I don't know if it's going to be a winter storm, but that's going to be some definite cold weather. And I think that's all I have here. So let me look over to the chat very quickly and just say hello to everybody out there. I see a lot of regulars out there, Ron and Michael and Mark's on there and Alexi. Hello to you all, and I think that's going to be it for me. And I hope you all have a good weekend. I'll be here, I think, at the usual time, 8 o'clock tomorrow. I'm going to be doing some renovations in my son's bedroom, and there's a chance I may be late. If so, I will change the title on the live cast screen, so you should be able to see that there. So we'll plan on 8 Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, but it could run a little bit late. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thanks for checking in, and I will see you tomorrow.